Hello and good day, everyone. Welcome back to my class, and it is a great pleasure meeting you again virtually. I hope you are all in good condition so that we can start our lesson for this day meaningfully. And so for this day, I am going to discuss to you the ethics of research. But before that, may I present to you the session objectives. So at the end of the session, the students are expected to first, you are expected to define ethics in research. Second, you're going to single out the importance or role of ethics in research. And lastly, you are going to analyze the given statements whether it is ethical or not. Before feeding our minds with essential information, I have prepared here brain teasers to give warm up to your brain. The first one to give the correct answer will be given extra points. Understood? So let's get it on. The first one. I touch the earth, I touch the sky. But if I touch you once, you'll surely die. What am I? So what is your answer? So come to think of it. Very good. The correct answer is lightning. The next one. If tomorrow I said the day before yesterday was Saturday, which day is today? So what's your answer? Correct! It's Sunday. It seems that you are all in good condition and you are so eager for new learning. Without further ado, let us now begin this day's session. So, what can you say about the photo? So, any idea? Yes. So, this photo tells us about equality. Very good. So, what else? Correct. This photo also tells us about fairness and objectivity. So how about on the next photo? Can you share to the class what's your idea about the photo? Anyone? Correct. The scientists are very much careful in their observations. What else? Very good. They are also following certain procedures in doing experiments. Researchers are careful in analyzing and observing because they are guarded by certain principles, and that is ethics in research. So today we will put an emphasis on the ethics of research. In dealing with research ethics, we must learn first what is an informed consent. So, an informed consent is an ongoing process of agreement by a person to receive treatment, undergo procedures, or participate in research after risks, benefits, and alternatives have been adequately explained. We actually have four elements of informed consent. First, the competence. Competence is the knowledge or ability of respondents to participate in the study. Second, we have the voluntarism. Participants should join the research study voluntarily. Third, we have the full information. Participants should be given information on what is their role in the study. And lastly, we have the comprehension. Participants should be able to comprehend so that they can be able to follow the research procedures. Here are the guidelines for reasonably informed consent. First, a fair explanation of the procedures to be followed and their purposes. Second, a description of the attendant discomforts and risks reasonably to be expected. Third, a description of the benefits reasonably to be expected. Fourth, a disclosure of appropriate alternative procedures that might be advantageous to the participants. Fifth, an offer to answer any inquiries concerning the procedures. And lastly, an instruction that the person is free to withdraw consent and to discontinue participation in the project at any time without prejudice to the participants. And now we're going to enter the field of ethics. And so, what is ethics? Ethics is a belief in the value of free scientific inquiry in pursuit of truth and knowledge, and the belief in the dignity of individuals and their right to those considerations that follow from it. It is the polarity that we referred as the cost or benefits ratio, and by which greater consideration must be given to the risk to physical, psychological, humane, proprietary, and cultural values that the potential contribution of research to knowledge. And the bigger question now is, what is the role of ethics in research? Ethics is concerned with which is good and bad, right and wrong. Ethical research concerns what researchers should and should not do in their research and research behavior, taking into account the benefits of the research not only to the researcher but also to the participants or even the society. Let us now proceed to the sources of tension in research ethics. So we have two sources, the non-maleficence and the beneficence. Non-maleficence means to do no harm physically, emotionally, or psychologically. Researchers must keep in mind the impact of the research to the subjects or participants, even if it involves compromising the research. An example of research that did not practice non-maleficence is the Little Albert experiment by John B. Watson on classical conditioning. Here in this experiment po kasi, John B. Watson experimented on a little boy named Albert. So, he does not consider whether experimenting a little boy would cause harm physically, emotionally, or psychologically on the development of little Albert. Let us now proceed on the ethical considerations in biological and health researches involving animal subjects. Although animals are not thinking creatures, they have to be considered living creatures which can experience pain and suffering. Consider animal welfare, or the RA 8485, the Animal Welfare Act of 1998. So in doing a study, hindi po basta-basta na kumuha lang tayo ng ating animal subjects. We have to get this certification from the Bureau of Animal Protection in order for us to get our subjects such as yung mga rats natin or yung mga guinea pigs. Another ethical consideration in biological and health researches involving animal subject is the Institutional Animal Care and Use Committee, or the IACUC, a regulating body to facilitate and enforce laws and regulations regarding the consideration of animal welfare. This body oversees the research protocol and processes done on every animal, such as examine, review, and approve the methods and procedures in the study, and they also look into animal handling and animal disposal. We should always take note the 3 R's in animal research: the reduce, the refine, and the replace. Under the reduce, we should use the minimal number of animals to be used in the study. Under the refine, we must examine research procedure to minimize pain and sufferings. And lastly, under replace, we must look if there is a possibility of replacing them with non-living objects. If we have ethical considerations involving animal subjects, we have also ethical considerations on research involving human subjects. So what are they? So first, we have using computer simulations. Second, Finding a situation in which the negative effects of harm already exist, where the research does not have the responsibility for having produced these conditions. Third, applying only a very low level of potential harm or for only a short period of time so that any effects are minimal. Next, obtaining informed consent or providing details of the potential negative effects and securing participants' consent. Next, justifying the research on the grounds that the small amount of harm caused is much less than the harm caused by the existing situation, which is the research is trying to improve. Using samples rather than complete populations so that fewer people are exposed to harm. And lastly, maintaining the privacy of participants through the use of aggregated or anonymized data. So always take note of our RA 10173, which is the Data Privacy Act. The next sources of tension is beneficence. Beneficence means to do good. Research should bring good and benefit not only to the researcher but also to the participants and even the society. So an example of research that practices beneficence is the psychological and physiological effects of yoga in children by Anna Crowley. So in this example of research, the research conducted does not only think of getting data, but it also considers the psychological and physiological effect uh, the children could get out of yoga. And there you go now, class. We are already done discussing the ethics of research. And now let us have a quick recap in the form of game named Appe or Kurug. Just say Appe if it is false and Kurug if it is true. The first question is, a research ethics review is a process that is undertaken to ensure the ethical and responsible conduct of a research project. Ape or kurug? What is your answer? So, the correct answer is kurug. Congratulations! So, here is the reason why. Why is it that the first question is kurug? What is a research ethics review? So a research ethics review is a process that is undertaken to ensure the ethical and responsible conduct of a research project. Let us now proceed to the second question. And it goes this way. Not all research project requires an ethics review. Ape or kurug? And the correct answer is Ape. Congratulations once again. Tama na naman kayo. Why does a research project need an ethics review? All research projects require some form of ethics review to ensure that the research conducted complies with existing ethical standards and requirements. Maliwanag ba? Our next question is, there are downloadable documents available to help determine the ethical issues to consider in research. Ape or kurog? And the correct answer is kurog. Wow, ang gagaling. For us to be enlightened, are there documents available to help me determine the ethical issues I need to consider in my research? Yes, meron po. First, you can start with the Code of Responsible Conduct of Research. This is downloadable from the internet. Second, there are research ethics checklists you can get from the REO. Third, additionally, there are research ethics guidelines in your specific disciplines you can look up to guide you. And finally, there are international guidelines that provide you with more comprehensive understanding of research ethics. So here are the things you can refer to when you want to know more about research ethics. So first, we have the Nuremberg Code. We have also the Belmont Report. We have also the International Ethical Guidelines for Biomedical Research involving human subjects by the Council for International Organizations of Medical Sciences. We have also standards and operational guidelines for ethics review of health-related research with human participants by the World Health Organization. And we have also the National Ethical Guidelines for Research by the Philippine Health Research Ethics Board. And now let us check your understanding on how far you have learned from this day's session. So please get your pen and notes so that you could be able to write your answer. The direction of the quiz is that you should choose the letter of the best answer. So you have 5 minutes to answer the following questions. And for your assignment, what is literature review? And what are the importance of literature review? Please write your answers on your notebooks. So thank you for participating. And this is your teacher, Alexis Alapitan. And I say goodbye and God bless.